I'm Alison, the gluten-free travel hacker. Welcome from a very warm England. Today, I thought we'd go through some tips and tricks for those of you starting out on your travel hacking journey. So, like all good educators, let's start with a definition. I'm sure you can probably guess my day job. So, travel hacking involves acquiring points which can be exchanged either partially or fully in return for travel. It's a hobby that has served me well for the last 25 years and has opened up a whole world of experiences for me. So, tip number one would be set expectations. On social media, you will see influencers kicking back in the residence on Etihad Airlines, or maybe getting that nice limo to their first class flight on Lufthansa. That is not the reality for the majority of people. Influencers, people who are travelling on planes every single day, are going to accrue a mass of miles. But I think for us regular folks, the rewards are things like the ability to upgrade a flight to the next class of service and maybe some free nights in a hotel as well, which is not to be sniffed at. So I think realistically, something like a Club Europe flight, where you get to experience business class, you get to have a little explore of the lounges at London Heathrow, is probably a realistic place to start. Tip number two, set a target. So rather than mindlessly just collecting points for the sake of it, think about what you'd like to get out of this habit. Is there something you would like to aim for? So I think for many people, a good starting point would maybe be a Club Europe flight. You get to experience business class and you also get to have a little look around the lounges at Heathrow for around 18,500 Avios. My next tip would be choose an alliance and stick with it. So when starting out, it helps to focus on one scheme and one scheme only. That way you can put all your points into one pot in a focused earning manner and see that total increase. So for an example of that in the UK would be British Airways, which is the main airline, and that's part of the One World Alliance. Other options are Virgin Atlantic, which is part of SkyTeam. The alliance is an umbrella term that covers multiple airlines. So for example, British Airways is part of One World, and that includes airlines such as American, Cathay Pacific, Iberia, Japan Airlines and Qantas, amongst many others. SkyTeam, which Virgin is part of, covers Air France, Delta, SAS, KLM, China Airlines, etc, etc. Hotels also operate in a similar way. They have many brands within their kind of umbrella company format, aiming at different customer bases. So for example, business or leisure or family or long stay or wellness as well. So focus your earning on one alliance or one scheme and really pull your points from that area. So credit cards. The online buzz is always about credit cards and their sign-up bonuses, which are very generous in America, less so over in the UK because of the interchange fees. I would say at this point, I am not giving financial advice and proceed with caution. This is not a hobby to get into debt for. These cards have a really crazy APR, and if you don't know what you're doing, you could get yourself into a right financial pickle. So that disclaimer out of the way, if you do decide to proceed down the credit card route, check it will benefit you. Ask questions like, is there an annual fee? What other benefits might you get? Is there things like travel insurance? Is there an enhanced sign-up bonus, which the schemes run from time to time? Can you add a supplementary person onto your card and then pool your points if you have, for example, a partner at home? Would getting a credit card that you will tie into your travel hacking hobby benefit you more than getting a cashback card? And there's numerous cashback cards out there at the moment. A word of warning, these are not the cards that you need to use when you have international travel. They do charge quite a hefty conversion rate and you're better sticking with one of the kind of traditional, debit cards like Starling or Halifax for currency exchange rates. Also, check out the rules for sign-up bonuses. For example, with American Express in the UK, you can only receive an Amex sign-up bonus if you have not had a card for 2 years. The days of card churning where we would have cards back to back and accrue all these massive sign-up bonuses are long gone. Make sure you do some background reading on this hobby. There are lots of great online sites for advice and with lively forums as well. So examples that I personally like are places like Head for Points, The Points Guy and the Flyer Talk forums as well. Be warned, these sites are like rabbit warrens. You will start reading one thread, one bit of information, and then you'll look at your watch and you will find that 4 hours have gone by. They tend to contain lots of tips on how to maximise scheme benefits, information about things like lounges, seat recommendation, and also specific discussions on food and baggage as well. Unrelated, but one of my favourite topic areas on the Fly Talk forums is the Do You Know Who I Am subject board. People are recounting stories of people they've come across or incidents they've seen with some divas on their travel. Get yourself a cup of tea and a biscuit, sit back and be prepared to both be shocked and also laugh out loud. Don't just presume because you've accumulated the points that they are easy to spend. Every scheme is different, but general things to be aware of are things like seat availability. Some airlines only release so many reward seats per flight. So for example, British Airways releases 8 seats in economy and 4 seats in business per flight. So if you're booking for a large party, this scheme may not work. Also to note, British Airways release their flights 355 days in advance and they go really fast during the school holiday periods. And yes, we have stayed up till midnight to book flights. So taxes and hidden fees. As they say in life, the only certainty is death and taxes. And within travel hacking, you will need to pay your taxes, your fees, and your carrier charges. And these are not always cheap. So it's really good to know about them up front. And I've included some examples on the screen that you can see. The other hidden fee to consider is seat selection. So unless you have status with that airline already, you are going to get hit if you want to choose your seats before you fly. So I'll use British Airways here as my example. So these are the potential costs you will have to pay per seat, and consider if you're part of a couple or a part of a group, this charge is obviously times by 2 or times by 4. So just bear that in mind when you're booking. Consider how else to earn points. So the majority of us are not flying daily or even weekly, so we need to think about other avenues where we can earn points. Some options include things like the Avios e-store. So here's an example which I pulled up today from the British Airways Avios store, where you can get 5 Avios per pound for your spend at Apple. And you can see if you keep putting your purchases through e-store, you can actually increase your balance in a substantial manner. This also goes for things like hotel booking. So if I book a Hilton hotel, which I have status with, I will book it through the Avios e-store and double dip my points. So I'll get Avios points from the booking and also the bonus Hilton points by directly booking with them as well. Don't forget that you can also make a household account with British Airways, so you can include and link up to your partner and also your children as well. This is purely for the Avios side of things. If you're collecting tier points, that is done on an individual basis, including for the double points on the British Airways holiday. Other earning options are things like a wine club, subscribing to certain newspapers, and there's also a survey scheme, which to be fair, I gave up with after 3 days. It was just too tedious for me. So don't get blinkered. It's so easy to get caught up in the travel hacking hype. Always check if there are cheaper flight options available to you on other airlines and work out if it really is worth paying a little bit extra to fly with an airline within your chosen alliance. Is it better to put your purchase through a cashback site and then pool the cash and saving? So attached to my checking account, I have a savings space, and any cashback that I get, I transfer into there and I put that towards future travel. And sometimes the cashback option is actually better than the Avios earning option. So final advice, travel hacking is a great hobby, and it has allowed me to experience so many things that I would not be able to afford to do. So things like the British Airways Concorde Lounge, the United Polaris Lounge over at Chicago O'Hare, and also some really great room upgrades and hotel deals as well. It will take you a little while to navigate the schemes, and it can be frustrating when you're new. But remember, this is meant to be fun. If it's not fun, then don't do it. If you have any more tips, please share them down below in the comments section. And also, if you've got any questions that you think I might be able to answer, pop them in there as well, and I will do my best. Anyway, thank you for your time and catch up soon.